Welcome to Third Phase UFO Report. I'm Rich Giordano from GUFON. How is everybody on this Memorial Day weekend? I hope you're doing well, because we're gonna go through what happened last week in about 2 minutes. Down the digital highway we go. And where ufology stops? Maybe Lou only knows. So let's take a look and get a little bit of an update on what happened last week. In my opinion, probably the best week ufology has seen in 20 years.
Yes, U.S. intelligence agencies have less than 6 months to tell Congress what they know about unidentified aerial phenomena, or what you and I might call UFOs.
As part of the COVID-19 relief and spending bill, intelligence agencies have less than 6 months to tell Congress what they know about UFOs.
If it's something outside this planet, that might actually be better than the fact that we've seen some technological leap on behalf of the Chinese or the Russians or some other adversary.
Let's just go down the rabbit hole here for a second. Let's just assume this is some sort of adversarial or foreign technology that several decades now has managed to leapfrog us and evade all 18 members of the intelligence community, despite our best human intelligence, signals intelligence, imagery intelligence, yada, 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 right? That would be an intelligence failure that would eclipse just about anything else this country has ever faced, especially if this has occurred for decades, that there's a foreign adversary that can put a nuclear warhead within moments over Washington, D.C. Okay, that's a problem.
Frankly, there are a lot more sightings than have been made public. We're talking about objects that, frankly, engage in actions that are difficult to explain, that movements that are hard to replicate, that we don't have the technology for.
Lieutenant Graves told us pilots training off the Atlantic coast see things like that all the time.
Every day for at least a couple of years.
Wait a minute, every day for a couple of years?
Mm-hmm. Do you believe that there are objects in our possession, broadly defined our possession, that are from something other than this Earth?
What I will say about that is that I think that assertion should be taken seriously.
I thought Lou made a very solid point, and I'm embarrassed I hadn't thought of it before, which is this is, among other things, whatever these objects are, a potentially very grave threat to nation states. So where was the intelligence community in warning about this and learning more about it? Where were they?
Well, that has to be answered, absolutely. I mean, we are under siege. It's like there's a war of nerves going on, and if this was drones belonging to a foreign adversary, there would be an absolute outcry. And yet, the situation we're in, that we don't know what these things are, and they might even be extraterrestrial, that's worse. So I agree with Luis Elizondo on this. This is a potential catastrophic failure of intelligence. And if it happened because skeptical bureaucrats were just saying to themselves, it can't be, therefore it isn't, then there must be a reckoning.
People tell me, when you say that, you can sound crazy. And I'll be honest, I'm not a UFO guy.
But from what I hear you guys saying, there's something.
Yes.
Oh, there's definitely something that, I don't know who's building it, who's got the technology, who's got the brains, but there's something out there that was better than our airplane.
Amazing. What a week last week. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's saying how exciting it is. And it is. You can't deny it, no matter how it's being played out. This is the best it's ever been as far as the open discussion with more than just 3 people. This is like the whole UFO community is now on that ride. And they're very excited. And Ufology is going to take us on a loop-de-loo, and we're going to have so much fun. I just hope it doesn't stop. And then nothing. I pray that the rumors are true, and this is going to continue for another 2 years non-stop. But we got to get back to the UFOs, right? And the first one we've got is amazing. Somebody submitted this to Third Phase of Moon over the water. True USOs, UFOs, whatever you want to call them. There is a possible USO. This thing supposedly came out of the water. We'll talk about that. And this one, oh man, it's just hovering there. Well, and we've got a really great USO story from Shrat. So strap in, baby. Here we go. Let's start this week off with an incredible UFO sighting from Peru. Here we go.
You're at Third Phase of Moon. It's Blake Cousins. And we're going to not give you breadcrumbs. We're going to give you real-time evidence as it comes in as fast as possible. So buckle up, everybody. Let's get to it. I received permission to go ahead from William Roberts out of Peru. He captured 3 mysterious craft over the ocean. Take a look at this. So let's take a look at this again. You know, it's incredible and quite amusing and fun at the same time. When you're filming UFOs, and maybe you're just by yourself, he's whistling the X-Files song. I gotta give him proper credit on that. He's actually in tune on that. Good job, William. You know, what could these craft be in the skies? They're quite large. They're off at a distance. People are asking him, did you manipulate this footage? Did you add these afterwards? Is this CGI? William Roberts says he didn't manipulate anything. He filmed it himself, and this is what he captured. We see no any kind of manipulation with the video. It's authentic. Obviously, the cameras nowadays, you know, you can zoom in and then it pixelates a little bit, but he tried to zoom in and we see some pixelation. But we know these craft are there, and they're quite large in the sky, just hovering there. What is it? Brent, what's your thoughts on this William Roberts capture over Peru?
Yeah, it's pretty badass. These sightings coming to us on a daily basis from the public, and it's kind of curious. You'll find people that will kind of try to discredit anybody trying to submit a UFO. They'll go ahead and attack the person that's sending it and call them out as a CGI artist. Most people that submit videos have no interest in that. They're just regular people that had the opportune moment to film something, and we should give them all a big applause for getting the information out. Now, what did William capture off the coast of Peru? We see these 3 anomalous objects, and you could tell they're quite some distance out. I would say probably about 1.5 miles to maybe 3 miles. It's pretty far out there. So these aren't typical drones. Like I said in last night's episode, you can't see a drone probably about 300 yards away. They kind of just fade out of sight. They're not big enough for your eyes to really capture it. This thing's so far out there, it leans to me that this thing's massive. What are these? Are they USOs? Is this what's being seen by the Peruvian Army and Navy? They've captured these things over the ocean, captured them in FLIR video. Now we're capturing this in color due to William submitting this to us right here at Third Phase.
I'm just gonna say it. Hands down, one of the coolest UFO sightings to date. This may be better than the green thing we saw a couple of days ago from Third Phase, you know? But we do see, and I'm telling you, what looks to be legitimate disc-shaped UFOs. It's wild stuff. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, but you can see it move at one point. And it gives me, and I know several years ago, they didn't have drones like they do now. And the way that moves, it gives that little jolt to the right. It kind of moves like a drone would. Drones, commercial drones. Well, maybe it's a military drone. Maybe this is the Tic Tac in the early stages, you know? It's really amazing, the capture here that William got. I just can't tell you how exciting this is. It's definitely, I don't know what it's doing. It looks like it's spinning. Let me just say that. They look like they're spinning. There's 3. There's 2 right there. Not that far apart. I agree with Brent. They're anywhere from 1 mile to 3 miles out. Maybe somewhere in between. But I believe they're about 40 to 60 feet. And maybe 20 feet tall. But let's slow it down a little bit here. And zoom in. I zoomed in, I think about 100%. Slowed it down about 20-25% here. So this is amazing. Check it out. To me, that thing is spinning. I'm going to slow it down even further. It is spinning, hovering, and all 3 of them seem to be acting the same way. They're just sitting there, barely moving, and you'll see 3 of them. You know, there's 3 of them there. There it goes. It lifts up from the left and moves to the right a few feet and hovers. I know people are going to say it's a drone. Well, was this DJI testing the early commercial drones? No, they don't look like this when they spin. You can make drones spin, but they don't look like this, man. You would definitely be able to tell. It's just grainy though, and that it's so frustrating, but what a wonderful capture by this guy William. Great stuff. You can't deny it. This is happening and everybody's seeing it. This is amazing. So off we go. Now we're going to get to another amazing sighting. So let's take it back to Blake for what may be another USO. It is a UFO.
We got a special report for you. You know, moments ago, I received an email from our friend, the Hidden Underbelly 2.0. He's gotten video from Facebook and he forwarded it over to me and we're looking at it. An incredible capture by a fisherman off the coast of Puerto Rico. He captured it with his FLIR and we've got the entire panel with us. We've got Richard from GUFON, and we also have Dark Hour Paranormal chiming in, including our friend Ollie out of the UK. Alien Addict is going to chime in on this video that appears to be some kind of disc-shaped object just closely off the surface of the water and then takes off into the sky. Apparently, the fisherman has captured 10 minutes of this footage. He's trying to upload it to WhatsApp, so we're standing by and hopefully we can see the entire film itself, but the fisherman claims he doesn't know what it is. So it's pretty incredible footage, and even Breakfast right here has no idea what is being seen at the moment. So buckle up, everybody. Blake Cousins, it is Third Phase Moon, and we're going to do the roundtable tonight, get everybody's thoughts and opinions. And I want to get your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comments and in this live premiere. Thanks everybody for joining us on this live YouTube premiere. We're getting the word out as fast as possible. We don't sit on footage. We don't trickle it out. As soon as we receive it, we put it out as fast as possible. So let's take a look at this FLIR footage right now.
It's spinning, bro. It's going, you got that spin and then you got like a magnetic force in the bottom where you can see hot. So this UFO, it was spotted like a 1 mile from the coastline from Playuela, and I lost it for about 10 miles northeast of the Secheo. The video goes for about 10 minutes, but it won't let me load it up in WhatsApp. So you be your own judge, make your own judgment. I don't know.
Now let's take it out to the UK. Ollie, Alien Addict, what's your thoughts?
This is interesting. It's got no wake in the water whatsoever. That's the most compelling thing about this. Not the fact that it takes off, because if it had a wake and it's flare footage, I'd say that that's an aeroplane of some kind. Small, radio control, or really far out in the distance, an aeroplane. You just can't see the wings. And when you look at flare footage, you really can't usually see the wings of an aeroplane. But it's the fact that there is no wake. What's really interesting about this footage is that there is no wake. You can't see any wake whatsoever in the water as this thing takes off. If there was a wake, I'd say that's an aeroplane, hands down. What I want to see is people posting flare footage to Third Phase of Moon, to Alien Addict, showing an actual wake in flare footage that's that far away, that you can see a visible wake. Because there is no wake. Without a wake, that says to me that is backing up what these people are saying about zero inertia, and that these things don't affect the water whatsoever. It does move the same as an airplane, though, as it takes off gradually. There's just no wake. When there's no wake, it's a UFO. As in unidentified flying object. I'm not going to call it UAP. I refuse to do that. But it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Because we've got loads of flare footage now. We've got a little bit more now. But only this one's, I think it's slightly better than some of the rest of them. Only because there's no wake. But would we see a wake? That's what I'm asking myself. I need to see more flare footage of aeroplanes taking off out of water and see if you can see a wake. If you can see a wake, then we know what that is. That's an aeroplane. If we can't see a wake, then that's a Tic Tac taking off out of the water. Also, why is it filmed on flare footage? People, stop doing this. You know, it's bad enough that we get the military stuff. When the civilians are doing it, you know, just use normal color. You know, I want to see the UFO. I want to see the shiny goodness of it. It's interesting, but is it a UFO? Well, it's a UFO because it's unidentified. That's about it. Apart from that, if we can see wakes in flare footage, very visible wakes, you might have something there. Interesting.
You know, it's insane what's going on. It seems like UFOs, meta propulsion vehicles, it's all on the rise right now. So we're having our eyes open. Let's take it out to Dark Hour Paranormal. Michael, what's your thoughts here?
While I do really enjoy this video, I'm not terribly keen on the fact that it isn't first-hand footage in the way that it's being captured. Now, maybe there's some sort of logical or rational explanation as to why they decided to put it on a computer screen and then film it from that, but at any rate, it makes it a little bit more difficult to analyze the footage. Now, we don't necessarily know between country to country what we have in terms of technology, or at least there hasn't been anything confirmed in that respect. So, for all we know, the United States has a set of its technology that we would consider high technology. Russia has one, China has one, and of course these go along in different programs, and perhaps some of the secrecy in between the margins, if you will, where we can't really connect any of these, is based on the militarization and secrecy of these particular objects. So in the video, we're privy to witness what appears to be some sort of disc gliding across the water. I assume it's pretty large, can't tell exactly how big, just because the cameraman is far away enough that we can sort of ascertain that at least. And then at one point it begins to ascend right off of the water. Now, the person filming then switches into a heat signature, which gives it a little bit more clarity. And one of the interesting things that we hear him mention is that he believed he saw some sort of electromagnetic field underneath it registering in the way of heat. Now, without any modern or conventional way to propel this thing into the air, no sound associated with it as far as we could tell from the video, we're again looking at some sort of super propulsion or perhaps a super cavitation element that's associated with this craft. Now, let's just play another card for a moment here. Let's say this isn't our craft and it is actually belonging to some sort of extraterrestrial species. Now, we understand that at least there is a theory that perhaps these extraterrestrials are here studying and observing us. But what if they were here actually studying our entire ecosystem and perhaps all the animals within? And that's why we're seeing them in such abundance at this period of time, wherein they're more brazen. It's like not looking behind your back, in a sense. It's an idea, but in my heart of hearts, I think the majority of what we're seeing, probably at least 80 to 85% in our skies, is ours and belongs to our species as some sort of back-engineered technology or some sort of technology that may have been a derivative of something recovered in some sort of event in the past. So either way, this is a fantastic clip. I really enjoy the authenticity of the person who's recording it. He says it's spinning at one point. We can't really make that out so well, but this is what he's claiming. And again, he really leaves it up to us to decide what it is we're witnessing in the sky that day.
The digital highway takes us back on land for this amazing UFO. What a capture from the public.
Se quedó estátil, se quedó quietecito. Se quedó quieto, no se mueve. En un solo punto. ¿Será un ovni? Es que mira que no se mueve, hace ratico está ahí. Y ese aparatico atrás será el que lo está guiando. Es que mire que no se mueve, ve, ahí está en el mismo punto.
We're getting a closer look at this Colombian sighting of what appears to be a metallic flying saucer captured in broad daylight. It's kind of weird because when you're looking at it, when you get a closer look, it seems to shapeshift in a way. It has this arrow shape kind of look in the beginning, then it kind of turns into a disc shape. Is this thing morphing up there? What the heck is it? It's not a drone, in my opinion. Brent, I want to get your thoughts, and also thank you everybody for joining us in this live premiere. We want to get your comments as well. Brent, go ahead.
Yeah, what's up, guys? To everybody in the chat, great to see you again. What is this? Look at this broad daylight sighting. It does look metallic, like Blake just said earlier. I do notice there's some sort of like escort next to this object. You can see it right above the top right hand of this craft. Could this be an escort drone? It's super tiny. Look at it. If we're looking at this object, it does look like it does have some size to it. The original saucer itself, I'm estimating it to be maybe about 30 to 40 feet. And looking at this other object, it almost looks like maybe a size of a football, the escort. What's your opinion, Blake?
Yeah, I'm going to get a little enhancement here, get a little still photograph of this craft. You see it, it's escorting the other ship. What is this? It seems super tiny in comparison to this disc-shaped metallic object. And what's up with these broad daylight sightings coming out of South America? Why are we seeing these flying discs in America anymore? Why is it only in the South American region nowadays? Are the UFOs in America upgrading? Well, I have a photograph for you that was just submitted to me via Sean. He reached out to me via my Gmail, and he said he was looking for answers. He captured this photograph. He noticed an object that he says, please find attached this picture of a craft he photographed a few weeks back. He says the craft moved over the ocean at a huge speed, then stopped instantly as it reached the beach. He said it stood stationary for about 10 seconds, and that's when the photo was taken. What we're looking at right now is incredible. Look at the detail on this. He says then it disappeared back to the way it came at a massive speed. At the time, he only saw a single craft, but on inspection, he says he sees some kind of unknown object in the 4 o'clock position. He said he sent it to us for 2 reasons. Firstly, the shape of the craft is very unique. Absolutely, Sean. I have never seen a craft that looks like this in all my years doing this archive collection from the public. It's kind of interesting. He says, secondly, I would really like a professional opinion on what it might be. Well, as we say, we're not experts here. We're just giving out the information. We do leave our opinions, but let me tell you, we're not experts. We're just experts at getting the information out as fast as possible. And again, this was just submitted just within 24 hours. So we're happy to share Sean's incredible photograph. Now, Brant, what's your thoughts on this incredible, craft? It's very, very bizarre. You kind of see this wing shape, fins on the top, like it almost resembles, I don't even know what it resembles. Brent, any idea what kind of meta propulsion craft is this?
Yeah, guys, anybody in the chat, let us know if you've ever seen anything like this. I sure haven't. This is very unique, as Sean said. I noticed kind of like 3 shark fins at the top of this, and then the folded wing edge down at the bottom, and then this conical shape that kind of looks like it could be the propulsion at the end of it. It's very weird, and I do believe there's no Photoshop. What we're looking at is the real deal. I really like Shane's description on what he saw. Again, anybody in the chat or in the comments, if you know what this is, let us know, because I'm still scratching my head. This looks like something otherworldly, nothing in our assets. I'm thinking this is more alien tech rather than anything else. Your opinion, Blake?
Well, it definitely has some conventional attributes to it with the wing shape and the emulation of a shark fin. It's interesting. You got 3 jagged edges up on top, and then you got this folded wing shape on the bottom left hand to the craft, and then this conical edge on the right. What is it? Is this a propulsion behind it? Again, secret Space Force comes to mind, some secret military asset that we're not aware of. I'm waiting to see this in the Pentagon's archive, but you saw it right here at Third Phase of Moon. This very unique shaped craft. Sean explains that it came at a high rate of speed over the ocean. It stopped. He was able to capture this incredible photograph, and then it took off from where it came. So, Sean, again, I appreciate this submission.
This is pretty cool. And the reason I say that, because we have an object here that people are immediately gonna say balloon. I don't think it is. For once in my life, I don't think this is a balloon. This is strange because balloons constantly move unless they're tethered. It depends on the weight, what they're made of, what altitude they're at, how windy it is. All sorts of elements play havoc with balloons. This one, it's keeping in the same... It's in the same spot, if I could speak. This is just awesome on every level. Just awesome. Again, the public submitting. There is no agenda from the public. It's strangers sending stuff in the Third Phase of Moon. and GUFON, Dark Hour, and so on. And we pick and choose the best of the best. And this is one of the best of the best. It doesn't get much better than this as far as UFO sightings go. You know, do you really think you're going to see the Billy Meyer type of UFOs again? First of all, don't get me started on Billy Meyer, even though I brought it up. This isn't Billy Meyer. This is just some stranger with their phone camera, and they're recording it just by chance. That's all it is. And it does seem to be moving ever so slightly to the right. Now, I don't know if there's some sort of, how do I put this? It's not an invasion, but are we seeing an uptick in sightings because of recent events? And I'm not saying because of recent events. Are we talking about UFOs the way we're talking about them and seeing them better, more clearly than we have in the past? I don't know if the mainstream media, they don't know anything, but maybe the other people who are the actors in this thing know something we don't know, and they just can't talk about it. And we're seeing the result in those conversations played out all over the world. Puerto Rico, South America, Mexico. It seems the further south we go, the better the sightings are. And I don't seem to be getting a lot of reports from Canada or even, Wyoming or Oregon, the northern part of the United States. It seems everything is south. It's just odd that a lot of the reports are coming from the south. You see that arrow pointing at that little dot? That object came out of nowhere, and it went up alongside of this UFO. Is it related to this object? I don't even think the person who shot the video even knew that was there. But it's really amazing that you see this object, which might be about 40, 50 feet. It seems like they're always around that size to me. I don't know why. But it's just odd. And then we got some photographs of it, which are just bizarre. Believe it or not, I've seen this before. I have a UFO on video, and I call it the Canon UFO. Oh my God, it looks very similar. Is this a balloon? I don't know. That is a weird looking balloon. Yes, balloons come in all shapes and sizes. We know that. There's party balloons and balloons that are really big that could be mistaken for UFOs. But this is weird, right? It reminds me of that one sighting, that report. It was called the origami UFO because it looked like it was shot, I think, from an astronomer, and he was seeing these bluish, weird angled structures in space, and it was dubbed the origami, and nobody knows. I think it was a telescope, and this reminds me of it. This is just bizarre. The pictures always look different than the video, and I am very happy this person took a picture. I wish I knew. Wait a second. I don't know what I just saw. All right, I think I'm seeing stuff. Okay, well, It is interesting, that's for darn sure. Is it a balloon? I don't know. If anybody knows what this is, maybe you can find a picture, send it to me. GUFONRadio@gmail.com or COUSINSBROTHERSPRODUCTIONS@gmail.com. That's a mouthful. COUSINSBROTHERSPRODUCTIONS@gmail.com. There we go. Just odd. Very odd. I can't think of anything other than that origami object. See, is that a string on the left, all the way to the left there, coming off that point? I don't see how. There's something there. We'll have to go back. I just realized it as I'm looking at this. I didn't notice it before for some reason. Well, whatever it is, I don't think it's a balloon anyway, but it's probably just an artifact in the picture. Let's get to the next one here. This is a Schratt file. Oh yeah, hey, stay buckled in. We're not done yet. This is unbelievable. This is what's happening now.
So I did some digging here, and you can reference a book entitled Russia's USO Secrets. Authors are Paul Stonehill and Philip Mantel. And there's definitely multiple reports of USOs during the Reagan administration. So this would be early 1982, 83, 84 timeline. And it involves a Soviet Typhoon-class nuclear submarine that encountered a bullet-shaped USO about 150 feet in length that popped right next to the submarine and went off into the atmosphere. So this is vintage early Reagan administration.
These incredible case files, we're seeing this bullet-shaped craft. It seems to have like a glass cylindrical shape cone on the bottom portion of it, and then it has this stainless steel chrome at the top. And you can see in this illustration that the Russians encountered something out there. What is it? We see that it has some kind of thrust underneath it, according to the eyewitnesses. This chrome design, and then we see, along with the other encounters via the fishermen out there, seeing this cylindrical shaped object that resembles some kind of witch hat. It's really cool that these accounts happen over and over again throughout pretty much the history of America. And we're seeing it across the world, even in biblical pictures and text. They describe these things that seem otherworldly. The question is it possibly technology that has been long lost, civilizations that had the mind and means to pull this off, and for some reason we haven't been told that there was a civilization that could accomplish these tasks. But now maybe, like Bob Lazar says, that the sports model was recovered from an archaeological dig. So if you could imagine that these things have been around for centuries, maybe thousands of years, maybe millions of years, and people have been witnessing them all this time, and we're finally able to go over these incredible case files via Michael Schratt and his insight to actually grab those files and document it. And he's going to be bringing much, much more to Third Phase Moon. This is just the tip of the iceberg. What Michael Schratt has to offer is incredible, and I'm learning, and I hope you're learning as well as we go over these incredible case files, that there is a history, and we should be kind of educated in the history of ufology and the sightings.
I think it's terrifying. I mean, this seems potentially like one of the biggest stories of my lifetime. And I don't care if it's about UFOs or whatever you call it. Something that we don't understand is getting very close to our military aircraft.
The technologies related to energy generation should come out first.
This hybrid aerospace underwater craft is able to basically generate an electromagnetic field.
It is President Trump's belief that the United States must remain as dominant in space as we are on land and sea and the air. And your charge is to see to that mission with the United States Space Force.
I mean, there were 3 people on my team assassinated, and I was almost killed.
With a lot of people that would like to know what's going on.
It's a matter of national security.
But apparently, just recovered are off-world vehicles not made on this Earth.
The president will respond to the subject the way they want them to. There's a black box with all the technologies that would give us a civilization that's sustainable, peaceful, etc., and that's been around for decades.
Everybody's asking the biggest question in the world. Are we alone?
Look, it's just stalled out there.
The narrative that's being launched, which is a false narrative, is that we're not alone and that those civilizations are a threat. The problem is that the public has to be informed and involved.
It could be a brief statement saying, hallelujah, I'm finally vindicated.
I'm not completely convinced they're gonna let this stay like it is.
But the people who are surrounding that level of our politicians and government are not told. Like the movie Independence Day, where Will say, let's go kick alien butt.
Through the wormhole into our digital reality, the world we live in. This has been another episode of Third Phase UFO Report, and it has been my pleasure to show you things that are happening in ufology, week in and week out, and a little bit of history. And you can find me on GUFON 6 nights a week, Sunday through Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, live on YouTube. And we'll be back next time. We are going down that digital highway as the sun rises on another day. We will be back shortly, so keep your eyes to the skies. And if you ain't looking up, you ain't looking out. Good night, everybody.
How low can you go? Death row? What a brother know. Once again, back is the incredible rhyme animal, the uncannibal D. Public enemy #1. 5 volts.